Our Granny Wish today is very unique, especially from Jetset's point of view, as it's one of our own team members who has been diagnosed with a massive illness. Jason, our plumber, come to us from Sydney. He's probably been working with us now for maybe 12, 14 months, recommended by a guy I know really well in Sydney. I did the research and thought to myself, yep, come on board. Jason comes on board, works with us for, as I said, 10 or 11, 12 months. Says to us he's starting to lose his balance a little bit, was a little bit shady on getting on roofs, went and got a CT scan and found out that he had a brain tumour. The good part from our point of view is it wasn't cancerous, but people say, what do you do when one of your employees comes to you and says he's got a brain tumour? What we do is we rally behind this guy and do whatever we can. That's what today's Granny Wish is about. Stay tuned, have a look at it. Great story, very emotional at times, but all well that ends well. Have a lovely day. Listen to this. Hey guys, we're here today with Jason and his lovely wife Dawn. And as I said on the introduction, Jason a couple of months ago had to have a life or death operation, and this is a little bit of his story. So, Jace, first of all, how's everything going now?
That's great. I'm on the road to recovery.
Yep.
Looking at starting next year is clean slate.
Yep.
With good health.
Would you agree with that? He's going a lot better now.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, and we've spoken a bit, today, and all the stories and everything like that, and so. We'll just go back to the beginning, first of all, is what were the first signs you noticed that, first of all, I'll say the operation was a tumour on the brain?
Yes, it was, yeah.
And it was the part of the brain that affects your balance, correct?
Yeah, right at the base of, like the stem cell, like where the spine comes up to the brain.
Yeah. So, and it's a very intensive operation. We'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, what were the earliest signs you noticed that everything wasn't exactly right?
Okay, the first sign was hearing loss. I was getting hearing loss in my right ear, and I always assumed it was industrial deafness, and my balance was starting like slowly deteriorating, which again I thought it was due to the hearing loss because that can affect your balance.
Yeah, and what did you notice first with him, Dawn? Like, what were the first signs? And I think you mentioned something about your sister.
Yeah, just that he didn't really want to be interacting with anybody. He was getting sort of shut off.
Yep.
Getting a wee bit upset maybe with the kids if they were making too much noise.
Yep.
So his tolerance to noise and just that whole, just being around people, I think he just wanted to more like shut himself up a wee bit.
So the personality side of him kind of changed.
Yeah,
that was the first thing you noticed. Yeah. And you said your sister noticed. Did she come over here and there was...
Yeah, she just said, is everything all right? Jason just doesn't seem to be wanting to, sit with us, and it's not like him to be shouting at the kids.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And I says, oh, he's probably just tired, he's been starting earlier at work, and
yep.
I just put it down to him being tired for
that.
To be perfectly honest. But then
it didn't get any better, it just continually...
Yeah, and then like the one time he really lost it with the kids, and I was like, that's just no normal. Your mood swings, it's just no right. And then...
So it was something like an overreaction from him for what they... It was like...
What the kids had really done.
Yeah.
Didn't
warrant that sort of...
warrant for the way that he reacted and had the outburst for, and I think the kids were quite taken aback at how he was yelling at them as much as well, because you don't normally, it's not me that does.
I'm pretty mellow and chilled.
Yeah. Well, and that's when you first told me that story. I thought to myself, wow, exactly. Jason's been working with us for 12 months, and that's why this particular Granny Wish is something that I granted it, because I wanted to do it, because I think to myself that it was something that, I know the sort of people you both are, there's no way in the world you'd want anything, but I think to myself it was someone so close to the Jetset family that is going through this as well. And when you said that he was, getting upset with the children, I'm thinking to myself, well, of course that had happened, but because you're such a mellow person, that was so out of character. So where do we go from there? We had that. Was there any other signs? Like, I think you said you went away.
That last long weekend, we were down at Pride Beach, staying down there for the long weekend.
Yep.
And I was tripping on furniture and Yeah.
And then, so then the progression was...
But going back to just before that weekend, if you can remember, I called you that morning.
Yes.
Because I was dressed ready to come to work.
Yes.
And my balance was just really bad, and that's when I called you,
Yeah.
and I said, look, I need to go and see a doctor.
And the other thing was, you said that one of the customers had noticed that you were going up the stairs or something.
Yes, about 3 weeks prior, I was working at a house, and it was a Queenslander, and I was going up the side stairs up into the house, and I was dragging my feet, and the customer thought I was having a stroke.
Yeah, wow.
And she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it passed after about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I just assumed it was dehydration.
And the
Yeah.
balance of your ear.
Yeah. Like, as I said, so then, so did you go, so then I take it you went to the doctors?
You know your regular
No.
doctor. The regular doctor is where I work at.
Yes.
He was on holiday.
Yes.
And I says, just book into our local doctor in Thornlands anyway.
Yes.
Just go, tell them you want a full blood test, and they might even do a CT scan just to see if there's anything with your hearing or something that shows up.
Yep.
Never expected.
And so this was before the Broadbeach?
Yes.
Okay, so this was the day before. So you're at Broadbeach. Had you got any results or anything by then?
No.
No, because it was the long weekend.
Yes.
So Monday was the public holiday, and then I had the brain MRI booked in for the Tuesday. I tried to get in earlier, but they said because it was a long weekend, I couldn't,
So you went for the brain MRI on the Tuesday?
After we got back.
Okay, yeah, you got back, you went there. How long before the diagnosis came back that said, right, you have a tumour on your brain?
Basically, when I was still in Queensland X-ray.
So the same day?
Yeah.
Tuesday?
That same, in the same building. The same
Like, basically they did the brain MRI, and then they told me to go and just wait in the waiting room. They've got to go and just speak to the doctor about it.
Yep.
And then they came back and told me to head straight to the hospital because I had a brain tumour.
Wow. And so at this stage, you go straight to the hospital.
I picked him up because I was at work.
You're at work, you get a call at work to say, hey, Jason's got a brain tumour.
Yeah.
Your world automatically just turns on its head. I'd imagine from that second, like you think to yourself,
I think what you were saying before is that really, you're thinking, am I having a dream? Am I in a nightmare? I'm driving there thinking, so he's got this tumour, so where do we go from here? You just think,
Reality hadn't set in.
nah.
Yeah, it's like the switch hasn't actually, is this really happening? And as I said, I think anyone that's been involved in any sort of traumatic experience often think, am I going to wake up from this nightmare? Or is this just going to continue on and on and on? Like, you know what I mean? And, I had one years ago with one of my children, and I think to myself, I just remember from back then, I thought, is this for real? Like, and then as it goes on, you're thinking, this is for real. Now I've got to get everything in place. And, you've got a couple of lovely children. This is the other thing that, that comes into play too. So, okay, so then we get the diagnosis. We say you go straight to hospital. Which hospital was that?
The PA.
And what you've said, they've treated you like gold, which is
they're
good to see. They were really,
pretty
really good.
in there, so, yeah.
I always say, and I've said it a million times, I think the nurses, and I think I even said to you the other day when I was talking with you about it as well, I think the nurses in this country don't get paid nowhere near as much as what they are. And I know the specialists get paid well, but they deserve every cent. But the nurses, they treat you so well. So you go into the hospital on the Tuesday, same day?
Yeah, on Tuesday I'm admitted. Like I went to emergency, then I was admitted to a ward. Yep. And then over the next couple of days, they did some tests, because it was such a major operation, I had to get tests on like muscle functions in my face and all that, because that was going to be affected. Yep. Or a high chance, because it was right on the nerve that affects. Your facial. Facial nerves. So I spent basically the next 3 days 2 days getting that done, getting some more brain scans.
Tests, and because it's such a, one of my friends had a similar diagnosis, but theirs was on the part of the brain, I think, that was for moods. Yep. For mood swings. So what they said was post-operation, because it was on the part of the brain, I think yours was on the part of the brain where the balance
Yeah.
It was. So I don't think it's either or. But as I said, it's such an intricate sort of organ, our brain. You know, anything around there is. So did they say to you they're going to operate straight away, or were they going to send you home?
No,
or?
at first, one of the surgeons came and told me I was going to be sent home.
Wow. Did he say for how long? Or
he said it could be a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I replied. My reply to him was, no, I want it out now.
Yes.
I don't want to go home, because if I go home, I don't know when I'll be coming back. So the next day, a different surgeon came and saw me, and apparently the professor of the neurology, neurology professor, said no, it has to come out on Friday. I was a priority because of the size of the tumour, and they bumped 2 other people off the operation.
So the time frame of this, you go on a Tuesday, you go in for an MRI on your brain. Tuesday you get told that you've got a tumour on your brain. By Friday they're operating to remove it. Wow. Yeah. So I'd imagine with a diagnosis like that, in this situation, you would want it done as quick as possible, as you said. You did, because as I thought before, I thought you come home for 2, 3, 4 weeks. What are you doing? You're just worried and scared and dwelling, and then you're moody and all those sorts of things as well. So in hindsight, and you know, we say this now because you've been through the operation and it's been successful. In hindsight, it was such a beautiful thing to do. Like, you know, okay. So then we go. So we say Friday. Friday comes, and I remember getting
Friday
texts.
comes. I wake up early.
I got a text off you on Friday, and I remember the text, and I was there with you.
I was outside. Sorry. I was outside watching the sun. Sorry.
You right? That's right. Have a rest. It's all right.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to be the last time.
Yeah. Mate, I was like that on the day you got operated. On the day you got operated, that's how I was. I shut the door of my office, and honestly, I was hoping, because when something like this happens, as you know, like is this the last time I'm ever gonna?
Well, I didn't know if it was going to be the last time I saw the sun come up. So
that's right.
When I watched the sun rise.
That's right. Yeah, and that's something you say that because it was something I heard a while ago, and it says as you get older, and like, you know, I'm getting older, everyone's getting older, and it got to the stage where I went, how many more sunsets have I got to see? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're only once a day, or how many more Christmases have I got? You know, these young ones have got a lot more Christmases, and your children got a lot more. And then with an operation like this, you think to yourself, well, am I going to see any more? And that's just human nature. And you think to yourself, like, you know, you just can't imagine what sort of people got no idea what you would have been going through. You know, unless, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it just can't. You can fathom it. It's like saying. To me, it's like saying childbirth. I don't know, even though you might have seen it or what. I don't know what. I can't. You can say it's sore. Women can say it's sore, and I can say, yeah, it's sore. We'll never know. You know what I mean? It's something like this, and that's why. This is why this story. I was so determined to say it because of all these factors, and it's such a loving family. That's the thing that, you know what I mean?
I mean, like on the Thursday night, Dawn came and brought the kids, and I remember just. Sorry, watching you drive off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if I was going to see him.
Yeah. No, it's. But anyway, as I say, the good thing of it is it all went well. Yep. How long did the operation go for?
11 hours.
11 hours.
And 10 people were involved in the operation.
So 10 people were in there for the operation. Like, so how were you through this? As I said, I know how I was. I could times it by 10,000. Yeah.
Because I would be with my sister at work. She was working, we worked together, and I just thought I have to go in there.
Yeah.
You know,
keep yourself busy a little bit.
Busy, and then.
Because what else can you do?
Yeah.
And as I
said,
said,
sat at home, I would have just. What would I have done?
Well, I had, when I said before, I had the same with my daughter. She was 2, and she went in for an operation. They said it was going to be. I think they said it was going to be like 3.5 hours. And so I was just strolling around. Like, I just wanted to be on my own. I was just strolling around the hospital, walking out on the streets, looking at the watch every 1 second. And just thinking, holy, how long is this going to go on for? And then it just went and went and went. And then I'm thinking to myself, God, it's 4.5, 5 hours. I haven't heard anything. And you're in a position where you went, because I've heard nothing, it is so good. Because if it was real bad, I would have heard something. And that's where you're thinking you're on it. So the longer it goes, it's kind of a real funny, and it's a completely different situation for you as it is for you, because you're doing your own thing, the other support staff are doing theirs, and they're looking at it through a completely different set of eyes. And I just think to myself, it is, and unless you've been in that situation, you don't understand, you know, the magnitude of thinking that whether you're going to see another sunrise, whether my daughter's going to have another day, you know, and you just think to yourself, this is life. Like, you know, it puts things into perspective. So it's all.
I was staying positive, like
for
the whole thing, but it's still in the back.
It's
of your
reality.
Mind,
no matter how positive you stay, and no matter what you're saying, and people are texting you back stuff and whatever, and the underlining factor is there is still a chance of, with an operation of this magnitude, there is not just one thing. There are so many things that can go wrong.
That's right.
You know what I mean? As I think they said, you might come back and you mightn't be able to smile. You come back and you might have your tear duct. You might.
They said the whole face might be trips, and it's pretty much my facial expressions are normal.
Yeah. So as I say, you have the operation. It's all good, perfect. Now we're good. We're bouncing back. Now we're on the get back trail.
Home run.
So recovery. How long did you stay in hospital after the operation?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You're in there.
I was in there.
You were in it for when you were admitted until you got out was 13 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
13 days.
And so what's the process they go through that? Obviously, I think you texted me for the first couple of days, he was just resting, he was in and out and in and
I
out.
was totally out of it for the first week.
Okay, so the second week, do they put you on a frame to walk, or what's...
Yeah, but like I was on a frame, like I had to walk like
A wheelie walker thing.
yeah, like a real, like not like what you see with the old grannies, but a bigger one.
Yeah.
And I'd get like a bit of physio, but not a lot, because they are. They're so busy. Like
not a lot of
they've got heaps of other people to see. There was heaps of people a lot worse off than what I was.
And that's one of the things that is really a testament to your personality and the sort of people you both are, because I remember you both saying, when you come into the office the other week there, and you both said you were amazed at the people that were so worse off than you, and you think to yourself that you're pretty worse off yourself. The size of the tumour they took out was, what was it, a lime, size of a
40 mil.
So it's size of a lime, so you know what I mean. Like that's massive. So to even be in that sort of headspace to say how many people are worse off from you in the same situation, it's testament to both of you as people. And you know, as I say, and that's why I believe that sometimes the person upstairs, or whoever you want to believe in, helps us out a little bit in things like this, because I think even though I know that bad things happen to good people, sometimes good things happen to good people too. And this is a recovery, and I think with you guys, and I think to myself that the way you've both conducted yourself, from my point of view, where I've been getting texts off you, I was getting texts off you in the hospital and everything like that, it really showed, as I said before, that she's no drama queen, mate. Like you were tough as teak, and I think to myself, it's just so good to see that support with each other all the way through it. And as I say, and you know, I think the guy upstairs was looking after you. That's for sure, because you got some more use and good use on this earth, I can tell you. So
I know. I mean, some of the people I saw, because I was in the neurosurgery ward, and some of the people I saw were younger than me, and all I could do was look at their fingers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you think to yourself that how you've come along, and
because when I first came out, like I spent the first week I was in when I first came out of the surgery, I was in intensive care for a day, and then they took me into a high dependency ward for a week, and that's where I saw the people like that. Like I just thought, like, I was looking at these people thinking, like, feeling so sorry for them, because I knew eventually I was going to be fine again, and I was thinking,
you don't know
what does
whether
the future hold for you guys?
What's the future hold for those? That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself that, and once again, you always think with these things that it's going to happen to someone else. And like as we were talking about before, like it's one of those things where you hear about an accident somewhere else. Well, it's not us, it's someone else. But with these sorts of things, it kind of drums home that we are, you know, mere mortals, you know what I mean? Anything can happen to us. It's just a matter of, and in your case, you're in great hands that made sure that it went successfully. So how would you say the recovery's going now? I noticed you're walking today without a cane.
When I first came home, I had a walking frame. I got rid of that after 2 days because I didn't want to depend on it.
Good.
And so I was using a walking stick, but it's gotten to the stage now, like every morning I walk for just just over 1 kilometre.
Perfect.
And I'll take the stick, but I don't use it. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at walking 2 k's next
Getting
week.
better and better and better all the time. What do you still find difficult?
Apart from walking 5 kilometres, but like the day-to-day things, what's a challenge now? Like, is it like, just say maybe...
But things like, just like buttering toast and stuff, sometimes I'll put too much pressure.
Yep.
Well, like I'm working on that at the moment. Like it's,
Just a touch,
the
finesse, the motor skills, yeah.
And how do you find everything now? Like, you're such a huge player in this too. I think you're a superwoman, to tell you the truth. But yeah, as I say, how's everything?
I mean, I think it's remarkable. I mean, it's the stairs when you come in. There's that big flight of stairs.
Yes.
That was one other thing that before he had a fear of walking up and down the stairs, and I kept saying, why all of a sudden do you not like the stairs? Now he's not got that fear and he's back to
You're back to normal because they've removed a lime from your brain.
Well, when I first came home from the hospital, I was coming down the stairs on the bum.
That's right.
Oh wow!
I was too scared to walk down the stairs.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's well.
Now I'll go up and down, 6 or 7 times a day.
Well, from our point of view, thank you very much for your time. Onwards and upwards, and we can't wait to get you back into the Jetset van again.
I'm looking forward to getting back to work.
Yeah, and as I say, it's just a really remarkable. It's a story it's like every good story. There's a baddie, there's a goodie. The baddies are the disease, the goodies are the surgeon, and the heroes are you two. So, as I said, it's a really great narrative for such a beautiful story and a beautiful ending.
Such a bad story, but a great ending, which is things. So what we're going to do is I know that you don't want anything at all, but I'm
going to insist that
we're going to look after you. We're going to give you a voucher to the shopping, so you buy your two beautiful kids. You sort out all their Christmas presents on us, and maybe even sneak in a little holiday for yourselves or something like that as well.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you very much for your time.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely.
Greg.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
See ya.